I think we all kind of have certain games that we feel every collection needs to have, whether it's something like Super Mario Bros. 3 or the first Final Fantasy or Earthbound or something like that. There are certain keystone pieces to every collection that everyone should have. What's going on, everybody? I'm Jay. Welcome to Square Pegs. Today we're not talking about RPGs or anything like that. I actually want to discuss something that I think the channel has kind of become known for, and that is my love of sports games. And I want to talk about sports games that I think every collection needs. This is going to run the gamut. This is going to go all the way from the NES all the way up to the Wii, and it's going to be sports games based on particular sports. So one game for each major sport. I do kind of get a little fuzzy with winter games and summer games. I don't really like a lot of the Olympic games, so I just kind of qualify them as winter or summer. So I hope you understand that. So let's kick things off with the national pastime baseball over on the GameCube. When it comes to baseball, for me, the one that is just the picture-perfect experience from top to bottom is MVP Baseball 2005 from Electronic Arts. I love this game, and it's not just because Manny Ramirez is on the cover. I think this is the best baseball game ever made. I mean that. Even comparing it to things like MLB The Show that's made today, this is the one that I always go back to. This is the one that I feel is imperative for any collector and any fan of sports games to own. And there's a lot of different options you can go with for baseball. There's plenty of games on the NES. I was very close to choosing Ken Griffey Jr. Presents Major League Baseball on the Super Nintendo, but the more I thought about it, it was between this game here and Mario Superstars Baseball on the GameCube as well. Just, for some reason, that console was so much fun for sports games, and this is one of those signature experiences for me. If you haven't played it, it's a straight-up baseball simulation game. It does not pull any punches. It can be brutally difficult at times, but it is significantly fun. One of the best baseball games ever made. MVP Baseball 2005 is a must-own. For American football, I was really considering going with a Madden game, but the more I thought about it, the more I was remembering the fun I had playing Tecmo Super Bowl on the NES, which to me is still one of the greatest sports games ever made. It's a fantastically simple game with very limited scope, but what it does, it executes so incredibly well. This had every single NFL team, every single NFL player that was part of the NFL Players Association at the time. It had a full season mode, a playoff mode. It was amazing. And it is incredibly fun to this day. There are still tournaments happening to this day featuring Tecmo Super Bowl. In fact, Cleveland Gaming Classic, where I will be next month in September, was started as a Tecmo Super Bowl tournament. It's that cool. I absolutely love this game. It's something that is just still ridiculously fun to this day, and it holds up so incredibly well. I don't think any NES collection is complete without it, or its predecessor, Tecmo Bowl. Both games are really spectacular, but if you're looking for the full NFL experience, you need Super Bowl in your life. Basketball was tough because there's a ton of basketball games I really like. I was very close to choosing NBA Street Volume 2. I was very close to choosing NBA Live 95. But when I stopped and really thought about it, the NBA experience that I keep coming back to, the one that I think every collection needs, is NBA Jam Tournament Edition on the Super Nintendo. This is an arcade game come to life. It is so much fun. It's 2-on-2 basketball with over-the-top action. Tim Kitzrow screaming boom shakalaka at the top of his lungs is commentary. The gameplay is solid, simple, and easy to play. It's just a wonderful experience from top to bottom. Is it going to win any awards for accuracy towards what the NBA is really like? No, not even a little bit, but who cares, man? It's fun, it's fast, it's awesome. For ice hockey, I have to go with the GOAT. It's NHL 95. And you can give me NHL 94 as well. I'm certainly not going to complain about that. Both of those, that's a 1A and a 1B. There's like a 1/1000th of a second between the two of them getting to the finish line. It's a photo finish as far as I'm concerned. But if I had to pick, gun to my head, it would be NHL 95. I love this game. It's fast, it's fun, it incorporates new elements into the game, and I know a lot of people are going to sit here and whine about the fact that there's no fighting in the game. I don't care. I really don't, because fighting doesn't add a thing to any NHL game. It never has, it never will. The only one that even came close to it being marginally entertaining in any kind of way was Mario Lemieux Hockey on the Genesis. This one here doesn't need it, because the gameplay otherwise is solid. It is one of the best sports games ever released. It made hockey approachable for so many people, and this brought people to the sport. That's the best compliment you can pay it. All right, straight up, this one will be showing my ignorance because I don't know a ton about soccer. I will be completely honest with you, or football, footy for my European friends. I am not the biggest soccer fan. Like, I like West Ham, but I don't know a ton about the sport. So there are probably more simulation-heavy soccer games that are more applicable and probably more enjoyable. But for my money, if I'm playing soccer, I want to play FIFA Street 2. I love FIFA Street 2. It's a fantastic game. It's not perfect, but it is amazing. The gameplay is awesome. The courts that you're able to play on feel dirty and lived in and like a real street soccer environment that you would have to play. I love the different characters that are in here, all the different actual like real life players that are available. I love the way the game is laid out. I love the north to south environment where you're actually moving up and down the court as opposed to side to side. I think that feels more natural, and I just really enjoy this one. FIFA Street 2 is amazing. One of two games I worked on in this list is going to be one for golf, and that is Tiger Woods PGA Tour 10 on the Nintendo Wii. And even the Xbox 360 version of this game is fantastic. Both of them are great. Can't go wrong with either of them. But for my money, Tiger 10 on the Wii is the best video game golf experience ever made. We got to ship our game with the Wii Motion Plus, which gave us an unbelievable amount of accuracy to our swing. It gave great control to the game, and it was something that made the game that was already fun from the '09 release something significantly more complete, something significantly more approachable and understandable for the mass audiences. I am infinitely proud of what we achieved on Tiger Woods PGA Tour 10. It was one of the best games that could have been given to me as a swan song for my time in the industry. I loved being able to make that game. I worked with some of the best people in the industry, some of the best QA people ever, and for me, those memories and the overall quality title that we released makes this the best golf game out there. I might be stretching the definition of major sports here with motocross, but I had to include Freekstyle on this list because this is the biggest miss I have ever had when it comes to a ranking video. I have said it in comments, I have talked about it on other videos, but I gave this a C in my initial EA Sports Big ranking video, link on screen right now if you want to check that one out. But it was one that to me when I first played it, it just didn't click, but it was the one I also could not put down. I adore this game. It is SSX with motorcycles. And that's all you need to know because it's fantastic. The controls are solid. The characteristics are great. It is over-the-top, ridiculous arcade action. Is it realistic? Not even a little bit. Not even kind of, but that's okay. It's a fun game. It hits every single note it tries to make, and it is just a wonderful experience from top to bottom. Freekstyle is one of those games that if you play it once, you will think less of it, but the more you play it, the more you're going to love it. Bowling is a major sport. It's something anyone can play. Like, you can go to the bowling alley right now, grab a ball, get some shoes, and roll some gutters. Because that's what I do when I go bowling. I'm terrible at it. I'm an absolutely awful bowler. But what I am really good at is Wii bowling, and I think this is probably, bar none, the one that anyone would pick for bowling. I'm sure there's some other ones. I actually have a viewer who is, I can't remember his name. I know he has bowler in his username, and he actually streams PBA bowling from the Wii U, which I think is super cool. But it's something where, for me, like the most approachable version of bowling ever in a video game is Wii Sports. It's incredibly easy to pick up. It's incredibly easy to understand. If you have ever bowled, you know how to play. It's just wonderful. I absolutely love it. It is such a fun game. And it was the great equalizer, right? Because this is something you could take over to your grandparents' house. Everyone knew how to bowl. Everyone knew how to play. And everyone could have fun. And that's really awesome. All right, time for the other game I worked on here, and this is NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005, and I'm calling this circuit racing because to me, rally racing is very different than racing on a track in an enclosed environment. So when I think of my time playing circuit racing games, I could go with something like Mario Kart, but that's not really a sport. But NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 absolutely is. I really enjoyed this game. This is a really fun title to work on. I was the database manager, which means I handled every single bug that came through. I routed it to production. I routed it down to dev. I routed it back to testers if they didn't have enough information. I made sure that we checked fixes that came in, and I was able to see the evolution of this game from day one when we were in Milestone, back when it was still in design and planning, through to completion when it went gold and we got our copies for when it released. It was an incredible experience with an amazing game that feels like a real NASCAR title. It still feels great to this day. Like, the cars feel heavy, they're harder to turn going into corners. You really have to fight it to keep it on the line that you need to keep it on. It's a wonderful title. Absolutely love this one. If you've never played it, and I know a lot of people haven't because it's NASCAR, I suggest checking this one out. I love rally racing, and there's a ton of really awesome rally racing games out there. You can go with any of the Forza games, well, the Forza Horizon games. You could go with Shocks on the PlayStation 2, but for me, the one I want to talk about is on the original Xbox, and it is Rallisport Challenge. This is a game I originally rented from EA when I worked there. They had a thing called the IRC where you're able to check out movies and games and books and stuff like that. And Rallisport was a game that I saw on the shelf, and I was like, what the hell, let's give it a shot. And I remember playing it with my friend Corey, and he was my spotter, or I was his spotter based on who was driving. And we would call out the turns just like the spotters do in the game to let you know when an upcoming turn or an obstacle you need to avoid is coming up. It was an absolutely magical experience, and it was something that felt really involved. Like, you felt like you were in the driver's seat of this game. Absolutely love this game. I think it is a wonderful title, and it's something that unfortunately is just a series that died a death. There were 2 games released on the original Xbox and then nothing else, and that's a shame. It's a wonderful series, though. Check it out. This one might get some eyebrows raised, because I know for most people when they think of boxing, they think of something like the original Mike Tyson's Punch-Out on the NES, or maybe even Super Punch-Out on the Super Nintendo or in arcades. But for me, the one that I think is the best version of that game that was ever released is actually Punch-Out on the Wii, because it incorporated so much. Like, the motion controls in the game were spectacular. Incorporating the balance board was an absolute stroke of genius. Or you could just play it traditionally with a controller, which is how I typically play it nowadays. But for me, it was such a great implementation, such a great continuation of that series that I really hoped we were going to continue to get more Punch-Out games going forward. But we haven't, because that's what Nintendo does. They just don't care. It's a great game, though. If you've never played it, and you haven't played it because it is a Wii title and you don't want to deal with the motion controls, do yourself a favor and give it a shot, because it is something that works incredibly well. And it's something that is really, really fun. In my eyes, it's the best version of Punch-Out ever made. What do you think? Initially, for skateboarding, I was going to go with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, and maybe I should, because it is a bit older of a video game, but the more I think about it, the more I need to give some flowers to the original Skate on the PlayStation 3 or the Xbox 360. This is the PS3 version you're seeing here. This is the most complete skateboarding video game ever made. The physics were on point. The controls were excellent. The trick ability was amazing. I loved the online component where you were able to claim a spot by putting up a high score, and it was yours. It had your turf, basically, and your friends could challenge you to try and take it from you. Other people could challenge you. It was amazing. It was a huge open world with tons of skating opportunities and tons of places to go and take your skateboard. You could style your character any way you wanted, which is why my guy's a little bit dumpy wearing cargo shorts, a white shirt, and some purple Vans, because that's how I dressed when I was a teenager. But it's a wonderful title from top to bottom. I think it's the best skateboarding game ever made. Like, nothing taken away from Tony Hawk here, because Tony Hawk is amazing and is superlative, but I think Skate is the best, just because how much fun they made a simulation skateboarding game. One of my favorite sports is tennis, and there are a ton of amazing tennis games out there. And a lot of people would go with Mario Tennis, and you can't be faulted for that, because Mario Tennis is amazing, has some of the best tennis physics ever recorded in a video game. It's that good. But my money goes to Top Spin 2. And it's because of the real-life tennis players and the actual, like, real attention to detail into the different courts that you're able to play on. Because everything feels a little bit different. Like, clay feels a little bit different than grass. Grass feels different than just a regular hard surface. The characters all have different attributes. The game plays a little bit differently. Service is fun. The game is just awesome. Like, this is such a wonderful series that actually came back recently, and that makes me really excited. This is an awesome title. Absolutely love this one. Top Spin 2. Dirt cheap, too. So if you're looking for something that's a fun tennis game, check this one out. When it comes to snowboarding games, I want to talk about SSX, because I think that is the best snowboarding series ever made. I also think there's something that can be said about the Cool Boarders franchise, but the one I want to talk about today is 1080 Avalanche on the Nintendo GameCube, because this took a fantastic N64 game and made it better on the Cube. The controls were improved. The look of the game was improved. The sound was improved. Everything was made better on this game. And I loved this time frame for Nintendo because this is when we were getting some absolutely incredible first-party Nintendo games that weren't strictly Mario-based. So we got stuff like 1080, like Wave Race, that were a little bit out of left field and a little bit different. Now, there's nothing wrong with any other snowboarding game that I mentioned, whether you're talking SSX or Cool Borders, but for me, 1080 Avalanche is something that deserves its recognition as well. Summer games to me scream the X Games. Now, while most people are going to go to the Summer Olympics, those are also fantastic, don't get me wrong. When I think of the X Games, I think of Xtreme Sports on the Game Boy Color. This was developed by WayForward, so you know I'm already kind of predisposed to liking them. But this is a really wonderful game. You can play as one of two characters, a boy or a girl, and you compete in events like street luge, skateboarding, inline skating, surfing, and skyboarding. There's a ton of really awesome events here, and all of them shockingly play really well for something that was developed, designed, and built on the Game Boy Color architecture. It's a fantastic game. It's dripping in attitude. The animations are wonderful. It's very 1990s extreme, so, you know, be prepared for that if you've never experienced that somehow in your life. It's definitely a look, let me tell you, but the gameplay is awesome. It's a really solid title and really captures kind of the fun and the silliness of what Xtreme Sports are. Now, I know a lot of you are here from my Genesis baseball ranking video from last month, link on screen right now if you haven't seen that one, and I want to thank you for being here. I do talk about sports games pretty regularly on the channel. It's not going to be everything I talk about, but I do enjoy them, so why not give them their flowers? As always, videos like this is just my opinion. That doesn't make me right, that doesn't make you wrong, it doesn't make you right or me wrong. It just means we have a difference of opinion. So I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments down below what sports games for each major sport do you think every collection should have. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. The engagement helps the channel out. And if you really enjoyed it, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you stick around. Got a new video coming out on Friday where I unbox the latest offering from Video Games Monthly. I'll actually be unboxing that here in just a minute. And yeah, I'll review every game that's in there. So if you want to see some nonsense, be sure to stick around. Until next time, folks, I've been Jay. I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. Remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.